presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Ohio.
Welcome to Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. We're live. Fox Sports Ohio brings you Cincinnati Reds baseball. The Blue Jays are in town as the Reds try to salvage a game in this three-game set. It's interleague baseball. Fox Sports Ohio presents the Reds in the National League against the Blue Jays of the American League. Hi, hello, and welcome to Cincinnati, everyone. Along with the Cowboy Jeff Brantley, George Grant, and happy Father's Day, buddy.
Happy Father's Day to you, George.
And happy Father's Day to everybody at home. There's some dads that are looking for a W for the Reds. We've had some good pitching. We've had very little offense from the Reds. And defense has been a form that has been very special the last couple of days.
Well, it's just been one of the backbones of this ball club that they've been able to rely upon all year long. And there have been some ball games where the defense hasn't been exactly perfect. But when you look at these plays, you think, how in the world can this club not be number one in the National League when it comes to making plays? Well, a lot of that goes back to the pitcher. The pitching spot has 9 errors. The shortstop spot has 13 errors. That's 22 errors off the top of the 38. Otherwise, this club would be better than anything in the big leagues.
Yeah, there's a difference between errors total and errors specifically, and the Reds have some spectacular defenders at some point.
They really do, and you see the infield of this ball club. They are awfully special.
Awfully special. That's what Bronson Arroyo's been throughout his career. He'll face a young pitcher who's been very special of late. Can Arroyo get off the schneid against this Toronto team? We'll find out next on Fox Sports Ohio. Ballpark on Dad's Day, this Father's Day 2011. Some sprinkles around the park earlier. No batting practice for either of the two teams. What's the weather going to be like? Let's go to WKRC and Aaron Seabury.
Good afternoon, Reds fans, and happy Father's Day. I know everyone will be wanting to go out to the game today, but you will need to prepare. Take an umbrella or poncho because scattered showers and thunderstorms are possible. Temperatures will generally be in the upper 70s to lower 80s. Periods of rain and thunderstorms possible throughout the afternoon.
Thanks, Aaron. We're hopeful of getting this one in. So is Bronson Arroyo hopeful of turning his career records around against the Blue Jays. A couple of straight bad appearances, but Monday against the Dodgers, he was outstanding, Cowboy.
I really think that Bronson Arroyo right now is starting to hit his stride. And by hitting his stride, I mean eliminating the mononucleosis from himself and getting back on the right track.
Carlos Villanueva, who's certainly on the right track, moving from the bullpen to the starting rotation, will face the veteran Bronson Arroyo. It's a Father's Day matchup that should be a dandy here at Great American Ballpark. Coming up next, we've got baseball coming your way. The Reds against the Blue Jays. Next on Fox Sports Ohio. State Farm agents are there when you need them. Find an agent or get a quote at statefarm.com. By your local Ford dealer. Ford Drive One. By the Regional Tourism Network. Book your trip at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline. Hey, whenever you're feeling good and hungry, it's Skyline time. Don't forget, in today's game, we're participating in the Home Run Challenge. Today, every home run in this game raises $22,000 for prostate cancer research. After 11 days, 61 home runs have been hit, raising $1.34 million for prostate cancer research. You can make a pledge by calling 800-798-CURE 2873. That's 800-798-2873. Or go online to www.pcf.org. We'll talk more about it as the day progresses. Hopefully, Cowboy, the Reds can do what they usually do at this ballpark. Something they haven't done in this series is get some long ball.
The one thing that I really believe that the Reds have had ailing them, at least in these first two ball games, and I really think it affected them in the Cleveland series, is trying to do too much at the plate. And I think that when you back off a little bit, and maybe a day game after a night game, maybe these guys will get a little bit you know, on the fatigue side and let the talent come through.
Good point. Let's check the starting lineup for John Farrell and the Toronto Blue Jays, who won the first 2 games of the series. Yunel Escobar announced this morning new 2-year extension for him. We'll talk more about that. He's a leadoff hitter. Former Red Corey Patterson. Jose Bautista, one of the best offensive players in the game, hits third. Adam Lind, who's been murder on the Reds in this series. Aaron Hill, Rivera, Aaron Sebia, Johnny McDonald, and Carlos Villanueva. And on the mound for the Reds, the veteran right-hander who's had tough outings against the Blue Jays the last 2 times he's faced them, Bronson Arroyo.
And you and I can talk about that all day long. Bronson Arroyo knows it more than anybody else.
Here's Bronson ready to go to Escobar. Yunel takes a strike. He's in at 281, 8 homers, 26 knocked in. Wearing the wristband that we're all wearing today, celebrating the battle against prostate cancer, and he's also celebrating a brand new 2-year extension, $10 million with options for 2014, 2015. And talking to him before the game, he said, I owe some of that to the guy who's in your dugout and the guy who's going to play shortstop today. That is Edgar Renteria. That's a base hit into right field. Renteria has taken Escobar under his wing. They live near each other in Miami. And he is really, Cowboy, you know it. You've seen guys that have come in with a little bit of hot dog in them, and then somebody took them under their wings. Renteria has done that for Escobar.
Well, the big thing for Escobar when he came up with the Atlanta Braves, he was all about hitting the ball out of the ballpark. And as we've seen here in just this very short sample of ball games, the first 2 games, his hits are coming to right field, and that is where Renteria made his money.
So a base hit. 1 on, nobody out. Here's Corey Patterson in at 275, 5 homers and 46 knocked in. Now, we talked about it in game 1, and it's been a factor for the Reds. For the Blue Jays, they have the second most first inning runs in the American League coming in. The Reds have, and especially we talked about Edinson Volquez trying to avoid that, but they're a team that likes to manufacture runs in any different ways. Johnny Farrell has gone away from just the home run approach, so he'll bunt, he'll push runners over, he'll hit and run, do what the Blue Jays have not done in other years. Farrell in his first year as a manager, former Cleveland, California, and Detroit pitcher. He's got his hands on this club, and he's given them marching orders. They're a different team than they were a year ago.
Well, you saw right away the first pitch that came to Patterson. He had already started to slide the hand up the bat and looking for the bunt. And he will bunt with 2 strikes.
And they will run more than they have in recent years. Reds and the Blue Jays very similar in terms of stolen base proficiency. Both around 70%. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Double play depth for Renteria and Phillips, the Reds shortstop and second baseman today. Runner not going. That's hit towards the right field corner. Bruce going over. He'll close and haul it in. It hung up there just long enough for Jay Bruce, who was pulled towards right center, to get a track on it and get the out. Here comes Jose Bautista, and here comes the Reds defense. Cincinnati 4th in the National League, a total of 38 errors. We showed you the figures. In the outfield, Stubbs, Gold Glove caliber, same with Bruce, and former Blue Jay Freddie Lewis gets the start in left. Cairo for Roland, day game after night game. Roland will start all 3 against the Yankees. Renteria and Phillips, Votto at first, and Hannigan behind the plate for Bronson Arroyo. That's your Cincinnati Reds forward defensive alignment. Here's Jose, 338, 21 homers, 46 knocked in. And all you have to do is take a look at the leading statistics, Cowboy, in the American League, and he's either 1, 2, or 3 in every one of them. Immense.
Just about 1, 2, and 3 in every statistic in the major leagues.
Arroyo to the stretch, the 1 ball, that's on the inside corner.
And I think for a hitter that loads and really wraps that hip inside the baseball as he coils up before the pitch comes, you really have to change speeds on this guy dramatically and change eye levels.
Setting up, down and away, Hannigan. That drifts over the inside part of the plate. Fouled off and out of play. Bautista, the #2 batter in the American League, with that .338 average coming in behind only Adrian Gonzalez of the Red Sox.
Pretty amazing, isn't it?
Oh.
That kind of power.
Just missing on the outside corner. He is the leading vote getter among American League All-Star potential players, and he has over 3 million votes. For the Reds, Brandon Phillips is #1 in the National League in voting, Votto #2, Roland #5, and Bruce #6. The Reds that have a shot at All-Star voting. Pulled a string on him way out in front, popped up. Can anyone catch up to it? Renteria does. Well, look at the job that Cairo did on that, Cowboy. You saw it. I mean, so often you'll see a third baseman get turned around. Cairo thought Renteria would probably get it, but he turned completely around to face the infield. That's outstanding defense.
Well, he just made sure that not only was he there, but he was also the eyes and the ears of Renteria in case he did not check to see where Escobar was on the base paths.
Two away, and here comes Adam Lind. He's been a pain in the neck to the Reds in this whole series with a home run and some key at bats. 15 homers now and 44 knocked in. In fact, when you look at he and Bautista, they are #2 to only the guys who'll be coming in here tomorrow. Mark Teixeira and Curtis Granderson in home run combinations. They had 42 coming into today, and Bautista and Lynn have 36 in the American League. You showed the difference yesterday in the swing approach of Bautista and Votto, but there's a similarity. Look at Bautista and look at Votto when they make it out, right?
Exactly.
There's an intensity there, isn't there?
Matter and a wet hornet.
A what?
Wet hornet.
A wet hornet?
Yeah, they get awfully mad. They buzz around the dugout like they're about to sting somebody.
Now you're talking about hot water poured on them? That was Alabama or Mississippi wet hornets?
That's Mississippi.
Those are the mud ones. The ones with the mud. Those are the scary ones.
The ones that feel like you get punched in the gut when they sting you.
2 balls, 1 strike to Lynn. Little bigger lead down at first. That breaking ball drops in.
You really notice that Arroyo holding the ball much longer, especially with the big boys at the plate. Bautista really made him feel like he was having to jump at the baseball, having to wait so long before the delivery of Arroyo. Arroyo plays a lot of mind games with the hitter standing at home plate, much less the pitching prowess.
You know, we talked about it early in the series, and it is so true. It's true of a lot of teams, but the Blue Jays traditionally, and this year included, have been a first ball, fastball hitting ball club. And Arroyo has seen that for 2 nights, and he's seen some key at bats go the wrong way for the Reds when you give a first pitch fastball to a Molina or a Lynn. And what's Bronson doing today?
Slowing them down, making them wait, and then he quick pitch Lynn on the last pitch.
2-2. Got him. Well, leadoff hit, nothing to show for it. Bronson does his job. Stubbs will lead it off next. West Coast, nice new pair of socks, and a couple other things coming his way. But also, you know, Dusty Cowboy, he was on the phone calling everybody today. Here's the lineup that he's penned for today. Drew Stubbs will lead it off. Brandon Phillips bats second. Joey Votto in the number 3 spot. Jay Bruce hits in the cleanup spot today. Miguel Cairo behind Bruce at third. Freddie Lewis against his former team, the Blue Jays. Edgar Renteria, Hannigan, and Bronson Arroyo. That's 1 through 9, your Reds batting order. And boy, this young man has been something else this year.
Coming over from the Brewers, normally out of the bullpen, pitched in 50 ball games out of the bullpen for the Brewers last year and was awfully good. He gets over here, he starts out of the bullpen. Next thing you know, 3 2/3, 4 2/3. Hey, let's make him a starter. Now he's 4-0 and he's got an 8-game winning streak personally going all the way back to 2010.
That reminds me of a guy that was pitching in San Francisco who got a couple of 4 and 5 inning bullpen starts, all of a sudden became a starter.
Yeah, I wished I hadn't have done that though.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, you moved into the rotation and you volunteered. Let's put it, and a lot of people don't know that. It wasn't that they put you volunteered because the rotation was short in San Francisco. You moved into the rotation, then you become a free agent. But you decided to come to Cincinnati. Did you want to close, or
I did.
What were you thinking?
I wanted to close. That's why I didn't go to Atlanta. Bobby Cox wanted me to basically be a starter, and I just couldn't do it. I knew that my best case scenario as far as pitching goes was out of the pen. And when you know in your gut that you can't pitch past 5 innings, I'm not going to fight it anymore. I knew I couldn't do it. And so once I got to this point, there's no sense in being foolish. I mean, I did it through college, but I did it with mirrors.
Dribbler to the right side. Aaron Hill there. He's got it. Stubbs nipped by a step, and there's one away. Here's your 4 defensive alignment for the Blue Jays. Dorado comes in 8th in the American League with a total of 44 errors. Speed in the outfield and center, you bet. Rajai Davis. Rivera, the former Yankee, in left. Batista, an above-average defender in right. Johnny McDonald, Gold Glove caliber at third. Escobar and Hill, the double-play combo. And Lind, an offensive first baseman. With Aaron Sebia, a work in progress behind the plate. He's come a long way this year defensively. Aaron Sebia catching Villanueva. So 1 away, and here's Brandon Phillips in at 280, 5 homers and 36 knocked in. Now, we saw it here in Cincinnati. Just as you went through it, Danny Graves was an outstanding reliever, had a great sinker, and the thought was, let's try him as a starter. You said you made a mistake when you look back on your career that it might have sidetracked you for a while, and I think it's pretty clear that's what happened to Danny Graves.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Just because you have the ability to throw 3 pitches for strikes does not mean that you can translate that into 7 innings of quality baseball. And Danny couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. There are a lot of guys that were not able to do it. And then there are some that can with ease.
With ease, Escobar throws out Phillips, and there's 2 away to bring up Joey Votto.
You know, we were talking about the 44 errors that this club has made, talking about Toronto. You continue to put the bat on the baseball. You continue to hit the ball on the barrel of the bat. You're going to force this club into making errors. The thing for the Reds is they've got to stay away from the strikeouts, and that's what we've seen in the last 2 nights. They've got to put the barrel of the bat on the ball and make this club field the ball and get them out.
Votto's first hit of the series. He's now 3 for 9 against this right-hander Villanueva, including a homer. Joey, a celebration for him on this day. You know he lost his dad. His heart always somewhat saddened on this day. His 2 brothers, he's really been a father to both of them since his dad's passing. And he lines this first pitch he sees into left for a base hit.
Saw him in batting practice. It seemed like every ball that he took a swing at was down the left field line. He made himself be able to do this in order to prepare for today. And we've talked about preparation till we're blue in the face about how Joey gets ready for the game.
2-out base hit for the Reds first baseman that ended an 0 for 10 streak. First time he's been on base. And as Joel fed us the info yesterday. It's hard to believe. It's the first time since 2009, August of 2009, that he went 2 games without getting on base via a hit or a walk. That's an eternity for a guy like Votto. Bruce fouls it off, and it's 0-2. Jay tied for 3rd in the National League in homers, and he's in the top 10 in many of the power categories. 7th in runs batted in, and he's in the top 10 in slugging percentage as well.
And now with 2 strikes, they go back to the Joey Votto shift on Jay Bruce. They send the third baseman back over to the right side.
Hot back and out of play. Hitters look from at bat to at bat, game to game. Hitting instructors have to try to find a tendency, and if you play a team 3 or 4 times, 3 or 4 series a year in the National League, you know what tendencies are. I think Burt Jacoby's been trying to hammer into his hitters in the last 2 days. Look what they're giving you. If they're giving you away, then take away.
Well, you know that the scouting report is the same on you for each pitcher. They're going to pitch you pretty much the same way all 3 games.
In the air, deep to right. Does he have enough? Not this time. Batista camped under it, will squeeze it. The Reds get a hit, nothing to show for it in the first. To the second, Aaron Hill will lead it off. Votto back to first. Day storylines brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. First 2 games of this series, the Reds only 2 runs, 14 hits, 3 extra base hits, a walk, 16 strikeouts. So the story from an offensive standpoint, challenged is the best way you can describe it. Our Elk & Elk storylines. Serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK, Ohio. Breaking ball drops down and away. The number 5 hitter for the Blue Jays, Aaron Hill, followed by Rivera and then Aaron Sebia.
I would think in the back of the mind of Bronson Arroyo, he wants to put together an awfully good game. Not just a win, but
yep.
One of those games where he says, take that. Easier said than done, my friend.
You know, I keep going back, and you know about the mononucleosis he had early, and not many, he never said boo, but he had a back problem that bothered him for the better part of a month, not just for a couple of days, and he fought through it. Here's a fly ball to center. Stubbs is camped under it, and I keep thinking back to when the Reds first got him from the Boston Red Sox, and the comment that was made when I talked to the then pitching coach Dave Wallace about Bronson Arroyo, and this is our Farmers Insurance report card. Arroyo's career against Toronto: 11 starts, 2-5 record, 6.38 earned run average. You see all those numbers, and they jump out at you, especially with 4 2/3 innings and 17 runs in the last 2 starts. Our Farmers report card brought to you by Farmers Insurance. But Cowboy, you know Dave Wallace, and Wallace said Bronson Arroyo, I said, give me a line on him. He said Bronson Arroyo is the best quiet competitor I've ever had. He's not vociferous, doesn't bark, doesn't throw his chest out. He's just a quiet competitor that battles you every way he can. That's down the left field line and foul. And that's the way he handles everything.
And he is an awfully good competitor, and I think he is a tremendous guy to have on your ball club, to be able to beat the opposition with some of the day's velocities that he has, especially for some of the young hard throwers we have.
Hill retired, 1 away, and here comes Juan Rivera.
That's how I learned how to pitch, George, watching Rick Russell throw 78-mile-an-hour sinker, 85-mile-an-hour straight fastball, and a 63-mile-an-hour curveball. And I'm thinking to myself, this guy's been around for 20 years and he makes people look like fools.
They didn't call him Big Daddy for nothing, did they?
The object is to spread out the difference between fastball, slider, and changeup. And I did that quickly.
I remember when Dave Miley was running the Reds minor league operation. It was spring training camp when he was in the Reds organization. And here's the 0-1. And he asked, Tom Browning came to camp for the first time after he retired. He said, would you speak to my pitchers? And Browning said, what? Tommy said, what am I going to say? And he was nervous the night before. And all of a sudden they huddled everybody down at Sarasota into a room. And there's a pop up behind home plate. Hannigan giving chase. He runs out of room.
Ooh, just barely.
So they all huddled in the room. And here are guys 6'6", 6'5", and he went around. He said, all right, tell me what you peek out at your fastball. And this guy says 95. This guy says 93. This guy says 96. And Pugsy says, well, I threw a perfect game throwing 85 miles an hour by adding and subtracting.
85, 75, 85, 75, 82, 72.
Yes, missing 1 and 2.
The object is to keep the ball off the barrel of the bat and keep that hitter falling forward instead of leaning back. Keep him on the old rocking chair.
Aaron Sebia jammed and it's fouled off.
And you see there, that's a breaking ball at 73 miles an hour, and it jams Aaron Sebia. And the reason that it jams him is because of the fact that the ball starts in. It's supposed to go away, but it backs up, and Aaron Sebia, he doesn't know what this pitch is.
Stubbs camped under it.
Now an 86-mile-an-hour fastball surprises him like it was 100.
How you like me now, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Every day at the 100 Days of Summer Sweepstakes at FoxSportsOhio.com. The 100 Days of Summer Sweepstakes presented by the Ohio Department of Public Safety, reminding you to buckle up. It's a guaranteed home run every trip, every time. Great to have you with us. George Grand, the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley, Jeff Pecoro, Jim Day downstairs. They'll be filling you in on Reds Live postgame.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's for you, Tom.
Yes, sir. Did you wish him a happy Father's Day today?
I did.
Good.
Last time Tom was up here, we were getting ready to start a ball game, and Luke, his son, was here. Turn around, I look at Luke holding his hand up to his mouth. His tooth popped out. I grabbed my phone. Pop, pop, pop. I guess it was his first tooth that he lost.
That's pretty neat.
Pretty incredible. Just happened to have that phone right online. Still have the picture.
You know, people talk about what we get as fathers on Father's Day. I think it's the other way around. What are the memories that we have as fathers about our kids? You know, I mean, you beam every time you come in and you talk about Mason, you talk about Elizabeth, and through your life, your kids have been so much a part of what makes us tick.
Well, I'm just a daddy, you know, and there's nothing to me better than being a father and taking care of your children, watching them grow up, and teaching them the difference between right and wrong. And sometimes that's very difficult, especially when you have a strong-willed child. But that is your job as a parent.
Popped up in the infield. Lynn calling, and he's got it, one away. Kick off your weekend at Great American Ballpark Friday, July 1st, when the Reds take on the Indians. Stick around for a postgame Reds white and blue fireworks show featuring a Hall of Fame rock legend soundtrack courtesy of PNC. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com today. And the Indians made a little bit of news today. Our good buddy John Nunnally, former Red, who was the hitting instructor there, been relieved of his duties as the hitting instructor. Bruce Fields takes over. That's one bit of information. The other one comes from South Florida, where Edwin Rodriguez, the guy who took over midway through last year and had a 500 record, 46-46, I think it was, with the Florida Marlins. He stepped down from managing the Marlins today. Brandon Hyde will take over on a day-to-day basis. And first thoughts, I think we all had the same first thought, Cowboy. I talked to Jack McKeon this morning. I said, Jack, did you get a call yet? He's still waiting. They couldn't do any better than bring Jack back.
I just wonder if anybody ever took into consideration the fact that Josh Johnson is not pitching right now.
Yeah.
As to what that did to that ball club.
What was Eduardo thinking, taking over as the hitting coach down there? I'm sure Tony had to talk him into doing it.
I mean, you have two issues, and obviously the manager is the one that gets thrown under the bus. Hanley Ramirez, making about $300 trillion, is hitting 200, and Josh Johnson can't pitch. That's
a fair ball. Freddie Lewis rounds first, heading to second. He kicks around, and they'll be in with a stand-up two-base hit. Well, Freddie gets his fifth two-base hit of the season. He's had 3 at-bats in this series, and if you add it up, he may have had the 3 best at-bats for a Red in the first 2 games.
Well, he really has, and I think a lot of that goes back to not familiarity with the team or with the pitchers, but he's relaxed. He knows all these guys. He's played against them. He just comes to the plate and does what's natural, and that's come to the plate, fight pitches off till you get one you can hit. I think if that translated into some of the other Reds hitters, we would see the normal Reds offense and not this anemic issue that we've seen in day 1 and day 2.
A 1 out, and here's Edgar Renteria in at 229. Great at taking advantage of the right side, and he's got a big hole on the right side with Lewis. Good speed off second rather. Edgar, sporadic playing time. He's had a base hit in 6 of his last 8 ball games. Hit pretty good to left, going back, looking up at the warning track, reaching up is Rivera, and he'll haul it in. Got it off the end of the bat, not quite enough as Rivera turned around, but hauls it in about 10 feet from the wall.
This is the one thing that Renteria, will do against you every once in a while as a pitcher. You see him so many times drive the ball the other way. Well, on that first pitch, he'll creep up on the plate just ever so slightly and try to jerk one out of the ballpark on the very first fastball you throw. That one he hit off the end of the bat, and it didn't go anywhere.
Like he did in the World Series for a 3-run home run that made him MVP.
Thank you very much.
Wasn't it great to see the reception he got in San Francisco last week? Oh, it was so heartwarming with his former Giant teammates coming out even before the game, but then when they had the ceremony to give him his ring. And Freddie Lewis also got a ring. It was quieter. It was in the clubhouse, and Brian Sabian came by to give it to him. Lewis traded from the Giants in April to Toronto, but he had been a Giant for 4 years.
I thought that was awfully classy by the San Francisco Giants organization to give Fred Lewis a World Series ring. He did not play a game for the Reds, even though he was on the DL the first 2 weeks. But that qualifies as being on the team, and he came up as a Giant.
And even more importantly, he qualified as a person to be on that team.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Well liked everywhere he's been. Here's Hannigan in at 267. A couple of homers, 16 knocked in. Towards the hole, smothered. Will they get the out? Well, John McDonald, wherever you put him, comes up with brilliant defense. He robs the Reds of a run with a play that ends the inning.
Oh, for me, yeah, 100%. You know, it's a different lineup now, but, you know, I thought that last time I went up there, but we got Scott rolling on our side this time, so I'm hoping that that'll flip the coin for me. But, yeah, I mean, giving up 19 runs in less than 5 innings to those guys in 2 years definitely is a big chunk of my ERA over 2 seasons, and I just hope to get deep in the ball game, yeah.
Our Geico quote of the day, Cowboy, you said it at the start of the game. He knows exactly what's happened, huh? 2008, go back to that date, June the 24th in Toronto. Bam.
But you also see where these pitches are that the balls are being hit by the Toronto Blue Jays. They are up in the strike zone. Up in the strike zone, even if you throw the ball 100 miles an hour, they're going to get tattooed. I think that Edinson Volquez figured that out not too long ago.
Johnny McDonald bangs it down to third, and Cairo takes care of the first out of the third. I mean, it was almost eerie going. First of all, very seldom do you go back in interleague play to the same place 2 years in a row, and the Reds went to Toronto 2 years in a row. It was the same day, and we sat there and wondered, well, it can't be a repeat performance, and Bronson just shook his head.
Same day to a year, and you could have taken a snapshot of the scoreboard and it would have been almost exact.
17 runs in 4 2/3. Here's the pitcher, Villanueva. Backhanded by Edgar. Sets himself. Villanueva retired. Now, we showed you the statistics defensively of the Reds when we talked about the start of the year. And here's a look at the Honda standings in the Central. The Brewers and the Cardinals each won yesterday. So the Reds lost the game in that divisional race. Cincinnati starts the day 3 games back. Timmy Wakefield goes for the Red Sox today at Fenway against the Brew Crew and the Cardinals. Garcia against Duffy in St. Louis. And there are 2 ways to look at defensive statistics. Number one, the aggregate statistic of how many errors are made and how many double plays. Sometimes that's really not indicative of how good or how bad a team is, because you may have a lot of errors congregated in a couple of positions.
Well, that's where the Reds are. And when you look at the shortstop position for the Reds overall, they've made 13 errors between Renteria and Giannis. But what really surprises me, George, is the fact that the Reds have made 9 errors on the mound. That's 22 errors out of the 38 that they've made. Now, even if you cut those in half, what kind of fielding percentage would this club have then? I mean, making errors on the mound to me is inexcusable. I just don't. I think that's concentration and having an idea about knowing where you're at. Yeah, you're going to make one every once in a while on a ball hit hard back to you, and you may get a bad scoring decision. But as far as fielding a bunt and throwing it to first or covering first, no excuses.
No errors down at that second base spot either, huh? Gold Glover there. Still scoreless on the bottom of 3. Biggest event as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2011 MLB All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 11th, live from Phoenix at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, only on Fox. Speaking of celebrations, hey, congratulations to Harry, age 96, and Jane Kearns, age 92, of Zanesville, Ohio. They're celebrating their 71st anniversary today. Now that is something to celebrate, Cowboy. Harry and Jane, congratulations. Happy anniversary. Enjoy your day. You sure deserve it. Here's Bronson to lead it off as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Reds had a hit from Votto, stranded in the 1st, a double from Lewis in the 2nd. He was left stranded as well. Bronson on the year has 6 hits and 26 at bats. Tries to check it, can't do it. 1-2.
And the one part about this game that really hasn't shown up, or this type of game really hasn't shown up to this point, is the fact that the Reds pitchers are pretty good hitting pitchers, especially the one at the plate. And I would think that Villanueva would know that after having been in Milwaukee and facing the Reds last year. You never know when he may lay a cookie up there.
2-2. Ball strike 3. Bronson retired. First strikeout for Villanueva. 1 out. Back to the top of the order. Drew Stubbs. You know, as you talk about the errors from the pitcher spot, that's one guy that he won his first Gold Glove last year. And you grew up as a shortstop in high school. He grew up as a shortstop in Key West. He feels his position as well as anybody.
He does not make errors. He actually fields his position as well as really any pitcher besides Kenny Rogers that I've seen. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he never panics, and he has the ability to throw the ball from any arm angle right on the line. He can pick the ball up off the grass and throw it from right there and shoot a bullet down the first baseline.
Big swing, got under it a bit. Might he have enough? Going back, looking up Rivera. It's going to be caught at the wall. Another ball towards the end of the bat. Sky high enough, but not enough distances. Rivera hauls it in.
Looked as though Rivera was trying to deke Drew Stubbs. He looked up into the stands and never turned back around until the last second and put it away. I think the Reds are going to get this guy sooner or later.
Well, Milwaukee starters have not made many mistakes the last 2 nights. They've pitched brilliantly, and we talked about it early in the series. This is a team that, along with the Reds, in fact, coming into today, each pitching staff had walked 262 batters. That's either the worst or next to worst in their leagues.
You mean Toronto starters?
Yeah. And
even though this guy's from Milwaukee.
Yeah. And the same thing was story for the Reds too.
You're right.
Milwaukee was a similar pitching staff, but when you look at it, the one thing that the Blue Jays have not done in the first 2 games, they've walked 1 guy in 2 games.
And that was the story coming in. And I'm sure it was the story in the scouting report. Be selective, and these guys are pouring in first pitch strikes. The 20 out of 23 of the first 23 batters first pitch strikes from Brandon Morrow last night is what blew me away. But he hadn't done that all year. But it does go to show you that you can shut down quality hitting by getting ahead in the count and making those hitters hit your pitches. Put them on the defensive.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Brandon, who grounded to short first time up. Center field sinking. Davis. Speed is a wonderful thing. Patterson hauls that in. Corey Patterson in center hauls that in. schools, retailers, and our military around the world. JTM Food Group. Buy your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Blue Rhino. Ready to grill? Grab a Rhino. Visit bluerhino.com for a propane tank near you. The Reds faithful on this Dad's Day gathered at the ballpark looking for some runs for a change. It's been a drought of an offensive weekend for Cincinnati. In tied at third is Cairo as Corey Patterson steps in. Patterson flied out first time up. Always a potential to drop a bunt down. He'll push it to third, drag it to first. Even when he is attempting to sacrifice, it's a bunt for a base hit with his speed.
I think now that you're in a situation where you've got the Blue Jays seeing Arroyo for the second time around, they'll try to be making some adjustments.
Popped up, Renteria back. Got it. One away. Time for our AT&T trivia question for the day. What father-son duo has the most combined hits in Major League Baseball history? What father-son duo has the most combined hits in Major League Baseball history? Of course, there's some great father-son duos, beginning with the Reds organization. I mean, right away, you got to jump to the Bonzes, Barry and Bobby.
What about Pete and Little Pete?
The Roses, the Boones, the Bells, down the list.
Griffey's.
Griffey.
How did you already say that?
Yeah, Griffey's. Maybe someday the Brantleys.
Maybe. I'm still here.
Hey, I remember Murphy. When Murphy was a little kid and you used to have the father-son baseball game here. He had a wicked swing.
He did.
In fact, today was supposed to be the kids' game on the field. It rained, so they had to postpone it till later in the season. It's always been for me one of the most enjoyable days at the park, because you saw kids when they're 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, and then 15 years later you get to see
20 years later.
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Well, it's like Dusty Baker's daughter. I have known her. I've known Tasha since way the early days back in San Francisco when I was a rookie. We used to do the Running Man back when that was a popular dance, and we would mess around, me being the only young guy on the team and her being a teenager. She was showing me how to do the dances. That was back when what's the guy's name that did all the moonwalking?
Michael Jackson. Call strike 3. Batista doesn't like it. He's retired for the second time. Pop up first time, and you judge right here.
Drops that baby right on the outside corner. And it is frustrating when Arroyo puts you down with that slow curveball, because you see the ball all the way in and you don't think it's going to break at all, and then the ball just has that little bit of right at the last second and it drops right down into the strike zone.
Our performance Honda Exmo showing you what Jose Batista saw, and he's 0 for 2. Swing by Adam Lynn, center field, in his track. Stubbs has it. That's a quick inning in the 4th. Let's see if the Reds can rattle the bats. Joey Votto single first time up, 2 up. Hey, Reds fans, if a Reds player hits the Toyota sign during today's game, Robert Brockschmidt of Cincinnati, who drives a 2011 Toyota Avalon, will win this beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. Register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. We were going to get you that, Jesse, for Father's Day, but we couldn't get up there and get it down. Cowboy did the best he could. Half swing by Votto, popped up with the shift on. Escobar over at short will haul it in. Votto retired.
We have seen that pitch now for the 5th time from Villanueva, almost as though it's an Ephus pitch. Starts with a full windup and then boop, and he has Votto way out in front. That's the same pitch that Drew Stubbs hit all the way to the wall that Rivera caught looking back, trying to decoy everyone by the way he caught the baseball.
And almost, as you look on the replay, it almost looked like a split finger tumble, didn't it?
Just rolling it up there. MC Hammer was the guy I was trying to think about. That
you still got some of his outfits, don't you?
Daughter and I used to sing too. Of course, I don't throw anything away. I'm a hoarder.
Can't touch this. Line drive into right. Bruce 1 for 2. The Reds have a 1-on, 1-out situation for Miguel Cairo.
They try to go away, and of course, if you get it away, you can get Jay to roll the ball over to the second baseman. If you leave the ball on the plate, well, you're usually going to get a one-hopper into right field or a souvenir into the moon deck.
Cairo popped out to the first baseman first time up.
George, we continue to talk about the first pitch strikes by these Toronto pitchers. And what it allows them to do is they're able to get that first batter out on a pretty consistent basis. Then if they do give up a hit later on in that inning, you're only having to get 2 outs or get a ground ball for a double play. So the Reds have really had a tremendous amount of difficulty stringing together consistent hits or back-to-back hits in order to form a rally.
Bruce going. Arancibia's throw is wide, and they don't get the tag down. One thing that Dusty Baker wanted to do was press the running game coming in, because American League teams have run a lot on this Toronto catching tandem, but they haven't had base runners to do it. Here, Bruce steals one.
Well, Arancibia makes a nice throw to second base, and that appeared to me to be a hit and run by Cairo, who handles the bat very well, but the pitch was way up and out of the strike zone, and you could see Jay look back in about 3 steps into his break, which tells you that's hit and run time.
So the Reds have a runner in scoring position as Bruce gets his 6th stolen base of the season, and it's strike 1 to Cairo. Trying to go the other way, pops it foul.
And I think you have a good man at the plate right now in order to, even with 2 strikes, to give the Reds a chance to get a run on the board.
Freddie Lewis on deck. We're scoreless here in the bottom of the 4th. Popped up. Is there room for Lynn? There will be. Second out of the inning, and here comes Freddie Lewis, and here comes our AT&T trivia answer. Cairo pops out for the second time to the first baseman. What father-son duo the most combined hits in MLB history? Senior and junior. 4,924 combined hits. The list is a pretty impressive one. And so many of them have ties to the Reds. 4,924 with Ken Griffey Sr. and Ken Griffey Jr. And, you know, Cowboy, of all the days we've spent doing Reds games, some of the most enjoyable have been on Father's Day. As Junior got his 400th on Father's Day, and then 500th on Father's Day in St. Louis.
Picked some good days to go deep.
And it's a broken bat bouncer down to second. Now the Reds get a runner to second, nothing to show for it. They'll strand a runner for the third time. Still scoreless. Classics, and tune into the 2011 MLB All-Star Game on Tuesday, July 12th at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific on Fox. Find out who won. Here's Aaron Hill, who will lead it off as we go to the top of the fifth. Hill, Rivera, and Aaron Sebia due up. Overcast day here in Cincinnati on this Father's Day. A bright sunshiny day at Fenway Park in Boston, and out of the box the Red Sox have a 4-0 lead over the Milwaukee Brewers, still in the first inning. Brewers start the day in first place, Cardinals second place, Reds third place in the NL Central. That's a strike, says Dan Iasonia, the home plate umpire. C.B. Buckner's down at first. Jerry Meals at second. The crew chief Dale Scott down at third. Both Dan Iasonia and Dale Scott will be part of that All-Star. Uh-oh, this one hit a ton to left. Going back, looking up, forget it. That's going to be in the seats about 15 rows deep. And Aaron Hill has his third home run. And the Toronto Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead here in the fifth.
Well, there had to be some point in time for Aaron Hill where his season was going to turn around, and personally I was hoping that it was not going to be here, but he's no 245 2-home run hitter.
Stint on the disabled list, back healthy, and he's getting his swing together. And you saw where Hannigan set up, down and away. Watch where it ends up over the middle of the plate.
Well, the breaking ball ends in the heart of the plate. Not a terrible pitch, but just good swing on the bat.
Rivera bloops this one into right. That's a base hit. So back-to-back base hits here to start the 5th.
And for Rivera, that is a really unique hit there, because when he's not playing first base, he hits 197 at every other position. Now, he hits over 300 when he's in at the first base bag, but when he's DHing, he's playing in the outfield or wherever it may be, he's a 197 hitter.
Arancibia, big swing down the left field line in the corner, curving foul and out of play. Well, with that home run by Aaron Hill, another $22,000 raised to support prostate cancer research. To make a donation, you can call 800-798-CURE or go online to www.pcf.org.
Well, it looks as though Arroyo is getting in a little bit of a rut here, throwing too many off-speed pitches that are staying in the strike zone, and the Toronto Blue Jays are taking advantage of it. That last ball was not far from being a second home run here in this inning. The ball that Rivera hit into right field was an off-speed pitch as well, and the home run obviously was a curveball.
Setting up down and away is Hannigan again. This fastball clips the corner.
I think that's the thing that Hannigan was saying when he went out to the mound. Hey, we got to continue to make them respect the fastball regardless of whether it's 89 or 85.
0-2. Arancibia, work in progress behind the plate. He's shown some progress defensively. The running game, something he struggled with. He's been around 20% all year, battling a thumb injury that most catchers do. Left thumb, after having it bent back, it's really hurt him more offensively than defensively. But this is a young player that looks like he could be pretty good.
Well, the thing for Arancibia is he has got to continue to work with his pitchers and work on his foot and hand mechanics, getting the ball out of the glove and getting it to second base.
Right field corner. Here comes Bruce. It'll drop in front of him. The runner round second will head to third. Going into third will be Rivera, and it's first and third. The 3 straight hits, the homer and 2 singles.
And still nobody out in the inning. A 1-2 hit on a fastball that Arroyo tried to get inside on Arancibia, and he just fisted it down the right field line, and Bruce couldn't get there.
McDonald, good handler of the bat. They will hit and run with him. Arancibia, average speed down at first. First and third, nobody out. Reds double play depth middle of the infield. They'll concede a run. Showing bunt, pops it up. Votto's got it. They got a shot at the runner, and they got him. Joey Votto pumps his hand in the air. Boy, did they pick the Blue Jays' pocket. Maybe this can turn the momentum of this game around.
Well, that's a great play by Joey Votto. The charge, and it's not just the charge, but it's the charge under control, which allows Votto to break to his left and then spin back and throw across his body to make a perfect throw to Cairo with a stretch at third base. And they just did get Rivera.
So from first and third, nobody out, to a runner at first and 2 outs, and there's a strike to the pitcher Villanueva.
The problem with that last play, George, is if he gets it on the ground, that's a run scored and runners at first and second.
Loop behind second. Brandon got it. That's a bounce back. The home run gave Hill and the Blue Jays the lead, but the Reds short circuit the inning. Here comes Renteria. Hey, Reds fans, log on to Reds.com today to vote for your favorite Reds players. Help send them to Arizona for the All-Star game. Remember, you can vote up to 25 times. Visit Reds.com and vote for your favorite Cincinnati Reds. Vote early, vote often, vote Reds. Brandon Phillips, who made that catch behind second, currently leads all second basemen in the National League balloting. Joey Votto's number 2 behind you-know-who. Albert Pujols at first.
Well,
Scott
if you
Rowland
want
5th and Jay Bruce 6th.
If you want your organization to be acknowledged, not only from the fact that this club is the Central champions from 2010, but there's a reason for it, and these kids should be rewarded, and especially Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Jay Bruce. I mean, how many do you have to say here? I know you can't pick the pitchers, but the Reds actually have an opportunity for a few pitchers to go as well.
And of course, attendance is directly related to where people stand in terms of the ballot. The Yankees will come to town leading in almost every category in the American League.
Right. But you have an opportunity to vote 25 times, and just hope that some of those other teams just get tired of it.
Here's Edgar, fly ball to the warning track and left, first time up. One run, 4 hits for Toronto, no runs, 3 hits for the Reds. The hits for Cincinnati: a single by Votto with 2 outs in the first, a double by Lewis with 1 out in the second, and a single by Bruce in the fourth with 1 out. Each of them left stranded.
Come for the Reds, stay for more fun. Enter to win a Cincinnati USA getaway package. Visit www.cincinnatiusa.com/funsports.
2 hopper down to short. Escobar has it, and there's 1 away. Don't forget to get ready for the Reds action 30 minutes before every game with Reds Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Jim Day, Jeff Picoro got you prepared for today's game. They'll be here for tomorrow as the Yankees come to town too. Everything a Reds fan will need, the guys will bring you. Sponsored by Ray St. Clair Roofing. Reds Live pregame. Scott Rowland sitting next to the Reds hitting instructor Brooke Jacoby. He's okay, just a day game after a night game, and Dusty plans to start him in all 3 games against the Yankees. Yankees are in Chicago against the Cubs. That game moved to a night game, so the Yankees won't get in here until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and they'll play tomorrow here at Great American Ballpark. On this Father's Day, we say happy Father's Day to the Major Domo for so many years down in the clubhouse for the Reds, Bernie Stowe. His son Rick, who runs the Reds clubhouse, and Mark, who runs the visiting clubhouse. So Mark's Father's Day present is to be here at 2 o'clock in the morning and get the truck when it comes in with the Yankee stuff, right?
Exactly.
Line drive, right field corner, it drops fair. Hannigan will hold at first. Batista, outstanding defensively as well as an outstanding offensive player. You don't take any chances on him. So another 1 out base hit. The Reds have a hit, and here comes Arroyo.
Breaking ball right on the outside part of the plate, and Hannigan's approach is up the middle and shoot the ball the other way. Fastball normally is the ball that he hits to the right side, but that pitch had so much break to it, and it had a little bit of height, then Hannigan just slaps it down the right field line.
McDonald waves to Villanueva to come over. They're looking at the probability of a bunt by Bronson.
And George, this goes back to what you and I have talked about throughout today's game and the last 2 games. You get the first out, the Reds have a base hit, but can't string them together. I mean, even if you bunt here, as Arroyo appears to be doing, you're asking Drew Stubbs to come up with a miraculous 2-out hit. And he's going to have to hit the ball into the gap to score a runner like Hannigan.
Mark Berry, Reds third base coach, flashes his signs. Billy Hatcher down at first, confirms at the other end with Hannigan. Strike one to the stretch. Villanueva gets it down but foul. Only place he could dump it is down the first base line. McDonald was 2/3 of the way down the line when the ball was touched.
That's the one, as a pitcher, you would really like to pull the bat back and swing and hit the ball right by that charging third baseman, because he's only 5 or 6 steps from you as you bunt. You can see the color of his eyes. He's so close to you.
Which Dusty does a lot, well, especially with this guy at the plate.
The problem with it is trying to make contact with the baseball.
You saw Royal pull the bat back there. And if you're going to do it with anybody on the Reds roster, it would either be Leak or Royal, the 2 best hitting pitchers that the Reds have.
And it's no easy task. I mean, it's hard enough in batting practice to fake a bunt, pull the bat back, and get it in a position to a point where you can swing it forward with enough bat speed to move the baseball.
Strikeout.
That happens more times than not.
Yep.
I think with a runner at first base, you're better off just bunting the ball down the first base line, and you don't worry about the guy that's coming in from third. Now, if you have a runner at first and second and you're trying to get to the third base bag, well, that's a different story.
Well, here comes Drew. Bounce to second, fly to left, 0 for 2. Sky high center field. Back Patterson at the warning track. Reaches up 2 steps from the wall. He hauls it in. Reds strand another. They've stranded 4 through 5. Reds take on the Cleveland Indians in a 3-game series presented by the Ohio Lottery. For tickets to see your Reds battle for the Ohio Cup, call 513-381-REDS or visit Reds.com today. And if you missed it, Indians made a move today. John Nunley, the hitting instructor, relieved of his duties. Bruce Fields takes over. Nunley, a former Red. And down in Florida, Edwin Rodriguez resigned as the manager down there. Brendan Hyde takes over for today's game. They have not indicated who will manage for the remainder of the season. A number of folks being mentioned, and of course one of those is a guy who's already done it once. Jack McKeon, the former Reds manager, who took over in Florida and took them to the World Series and a championship.
And Bobby V, you think he'll go back down there?
I think very definitely he's in a holding pattern now. I think you and I both agreed that Dusty was in a holding pattern when he started to do television, and I think Bobby still wants to manage again.
But do you think that Bobby wants that job or the job that's up a little north of that?
I think he's waited long enough to take the best job. He's had 3 opportunities, and they've
gone
different things have gone other ways at the 11th hour. At this stage, he'd be better waiting for the one that gives him the best chance to win. And you talked about it earlier. You lose Hanley Ramirez, you lose Josh Johnson. You're not a miracle worker, no matter who the manager is down there.
Right. No, you're not. But I just know that in some way, fashion, or form, in the back of his mind, he's got to be thinking about managing the New York Mets. They are in a world of flux, but you don't know if the payroll is going to be changed and increased dramatically with all the Maddow stuff that has gone on, or if his best shot is just going to Florida and go to the new stadium.
The other side of it is, if the Mets do relieve some payroll, they're going to need a name to draw people. And Bobby would be a name to draw people to New York again.
No doubt about that.
Bouncer to Cairo. Escobar retired. Cub, let's first take a look after today's game on Fox Sports Ohio. Join Tom Brokaw for Boys in the Hall, featuring the personal stories of some of baseball's greatest legends. This week it's Buck O'Neil, Boys in the Hall, after today's game, presented by Subway, where winners eat. A lot of new things at Cooperstown, and maybe the best decision that's been made in recent years is the decision to have a Buck O'Neil Award, who is, you and I spent a lot of time with him over the years, one of the most positive people ever to grace our game. And Roland Heeman will receive that award this year up in Cooperstown, and you couldn't pick a better guy than Roland. He's helped a lot of us in this business. Players, coaches, managers, broadcasters, interns. He's been there for a lot of people. Patterson retired, 2 away. Cabo, you were mentioning that how important the first batter is. I was just looking through my score sheet. In this series, the Reds have had only 2 leadoff hitters on to start an inning. 2 in 3 games. One was a bunt by Yanish. The other was a base hit by Bruce.
Well, that should tell you why the scores have been the way that they have been. This is a very potent offensive machine for the Reds, but there's not anybody potent when your first batter is out every time you start an inning.
Well, so far so good. Bronson against Jose Batista. He popped out and struck out 0 for 2. 2 away here in the 6th. Even with the shift, he bangs one through on the left side. And that's his first hit of the day.
That one got a little bit more plate, I think, than where Bronson wanted it. I think he wanted that ball to tail off the plate, start on the plate, and tail off, looking by the way that Hannigan was setting. But the ball started in the heart of the plate, maybe middle away, and came back right to the inside corner. And with the bat speed of Jose Batista, that's a ball he's just going to jerk through the left side, and he does just that.
Here's Adam Lynn, struck out and lined to center. See if they'll push the running game. They will, and it's popped into right center field. He had the base stolen big time. Bruce will squeeze it. So base hit, no harm in the 6th. Let's see if the Reds can rattle the bats. Phillips, Votto, Bruce 2 up. Toronto. Here it is.
Came on a hanging breaking ball that was up in the strike zone. And Aaron Hill, who actually batted either 7th or 8th in that first ball game, now batting in the number 5 hole, comes right on through.
The Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. That one swing to lead off the 5th inning gave the Blue Jays the lead, and they still have it 1-0 as we go to the bottom of 6.
And that was
Votto Bruce.
That was after Arroyo had Aaron Hill at a 2-strike count.
Brandon grounded to short, line to center, 0 for 2. Now, the one part of Bronson Arroyo's repertoire that really has been affected by both first the mononucleosis and secondly the back is that he just hasn't had that little extra oomph on his fastball. The breaking ball he's been able to control, his changeups, but the fastball that he would normally sneak up on you with is 2-3 miles an hour slower.
It has been for the most part. He's had a couple of ball games where he's been able to reach that 89-mile-an-hour mark, and for Arroyo, that's really where I measure him. If I can see that he's throwing the ball 89 miles an hour normally, he's going to have a pretty good ball game. But when he's at 85 or 86 and can't quite reach the 89 on him, when he has to have a fastball, just makes for a day where he really has to work. He can't afford to make any mistakes when he's that way.
Brandon, who at times has been the Reds' leadoff hitter in the last 4 years, is in a leadoff situation here in the 6th. Reds would love to get somebody on, get something rolling. Votto to follow, and then Jay Bruce.
I think in all respects, George, you've got to hand it to these Toronto starters. They have all thrown strikes. They have all gotten ahead in the count. And pitching in this ballpark, that's no easy task. This park can be awfully intimidating.
Hit hard, but right at Hill. Phillips retired, 1 away in the 6th. Here comes Joey, and we had Joey's evaluation of Jose Bautista. Let's turn the tables on Bautista and ask him what impresses him about Joey Votto.
I think his consistency, just watching him from across the diamond and seeing him come out here on a daily basis and perform day after day. It's something that's really hard to do, and that's the things that I try to achieve during a long season. Just being able to chip in here and there for team victories is really what I think should get us up out of the bed in the morning, because if you allow your team to win more games, then you win championships and make it to the playoffs, and at the end of the day, I think that's what everybody wants.
2 outstanding hitters, 2 guys who have the utmost respect for each other. Joey today 1 for 2, a single and a pop up on a check swing. And I think what you saw as Joey was in the middle of a 0 for 8 and then overall 0 for 10 the last 3 games, and you watched Bautista struggle after a pop-up and a strikeout, is their reaction afterwards. They recharge their emotions and their intensity for their next at bat. You don't teach that. That's inside you. That's a great similarity.
You can talk to many coaches at this big league level, and you can have all the talent in the world, throw the ball hard, hit the ball out of the ballpark. But if you don't have a little bit of acid in that belly and something beating in that heart, forget about it.
Oh boy, does he stay alive just barely. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The best hitters will find a way to spoil a pitch they've been fooled on and come back to make the best of an at bat.
And Votto has done that more this year and better this year than I think I've ever seen him do it. He's been able to continue to spoil very good pitches from good pitchers and hang around and get him a pitch that he can hammer.
You saw Aaron Sebia sneak up inside to try to give Votto a feel that they were coming in. Then he moved outside, and that's where they went.
And that's a pitch there that we saw Joey strike out on a couple of nights in the first 2 ball game on that fastball up and away after they had been working him in predominantly.
Line to left, sinking. It'll drop in front of Rivera. Joey's 2 for 3.
A great at bat. Watch the hands of Joey Votto as he goes down to get this pitch. I mean, you're talking about really getting the hands to the baseball. How quick do you get to that pitch? At the very last second, take it right out of the catcher's mitt. And now you see his head stay right on the baseball. Look at his head down. He's still looking down to where the ball was as he slices it out into left field. He uses his hands and his upper body strength to be able to drive the baseball. Both he and Batista, they put up similar kinds of numbers, but yet they are totally different kinds of hitters. Joey Votto is a hands and upper body hitter. Jose Batista is a back leg bottom half hitter.
Great analysis, and now the Reds have the potential tying run down at first with Jay Bruce at the plate. Bruce flied to right, singled to right, and stole a base. Sitting on 17 home runs for the season. On the corner for a strike, says Dan Iasonia. Bruce thought it might have been a hair outside. Setting up away. Slice to the left side. It'll be in the seats.
(17 of 22). We saw 20 of 23 last night. And now with 2 strikes on Jay Bruce, they will take the third baseman, McDonald, and move him over to play second base. Take Aaron Hill and move him out into short right field.
And they'll go away. Popped up. Aaron Sebia has room, got it for the second out. And here comes Cairo. The team that has led the National League in runs for most of this first half of the season, averaging about 5 runs a game coming into this series, has struggled inning by inning, at bat by at bat, to come up with a big hit. Drilled left, going back, gonna be gone. One swing, the Reds finally have a lead. Listen to this crowd say thank you.
Well, this can only happen for Miguel Cairo when you get plenty of opportunities to play in spot starts in positions where you're going to get at bats on a regular basis, and that's what happened with Cairo there, and he lambasted that baby.
A sweet swing, his third homer. Miguel Cairo safe at home, safe and secure. New York life.
Hey, the Reds had 2 hits in 1 inning.
And how about that? 2 runs. We're just wondering, 16 scoreless innings. It seemed like longer than that. It seemed like about a week, didn't it? with that home run by Miggy. Another $22,000 has been raised to support prostate cancer research. To make a donation, you can call 800-798-CURE or go online to www.bcf.org. Freddie Lewis, left field corner, curving. It will be foul.
That ball was a home run off the bat of Cairo. And you're talking about a normal swing, which is hands inside the ball, elbows almost at the rib cage, just trying to feather the ball back up the middle and shoot the ball the other way. And he jumped all over that fastball up and in.
A la Aaron Boone, one of those third basemen that love the ball up, huh?
Wow. And the thing about it is, a lot of hitters in the back of their mind, they're thinking to themselves, if I get a fastball middle and I'm killing it. On the first pitch, that is.
Escobar in the dirt, safe.
Great hustle by Fred Lewis. Great hustle.
He's had 5 at-bats in this series, and maybe 4 of those have been the best at-bats that the Reds have had. Another good effort here and another great hustle.
Didn't hit it good, but watch him. You can see him out of the box right there. He was going all the way. A nice play by Yunel Escobar. But as you've heard us say up here time and time again, you cannot teach speed. Look at that. I'm safe.
By the slimmest of margins, but he's in there. Escobar did a great job at getting to the ball, and looking at that play made the play that Brandon Phillips made the other day even more remarkable. He was going the other way, and he still got a lot on the throw.
Right.
So here's Edgar 0 for 2. Finally, a yellow number up on the scoreboard at Great American Ballpark for the Reds. In the brand new magnificent scoreboard that the Reds have here at Great American Ballpark. It's been a while since you looked up there and saw that yellow number screaming at you.
I think the Reds in general would like more than anything to end in this series on a high note with the Yankees coming in here tomorrow.
In the air, deep to left, going back, looking up Rivera. He'll have room and he'll haul it in. Second time, Renteria's going to the wall. Past the wall when Cairo though, and the Reds have a 2-1 lead. 2011. By your Cincinnati Northern Kentucky Honda dealers. Visit mycincinnatihondadealer.com for current offers. And by Wendy's. You know when it's real. Here's Aaron Hill leading off for the third time. He pops this one into center. Who'll get there? Renteria does. Stubbs playing deep, had a long way to come, and Cowboy, you saw a lot of great shortstops. Chris Spire was one of the best in the business at making that play. Renteria is as good as has been at this kind of a play.
And this is how you're supposed to do it. Watch Stubbs go down. Shortstop stays up. That way Stubbs can catch the ball if the ball goes through and Renteria misses. You see both of their eyes are right on the baseball. You avoid the collision. If there is any type of run into each other at all, it's just a trip. You just fall over the center fielder. That's exactly how you're supposed to do it when you're charging in from center field.
Octavio Dotel has started to loosen in the Toronto bullpen. And here's Rivera. 1 for 2, single last time up. Here's the 3-0. Way high, ball 4. First walk allowed by Arroyo with 1 out here in the 7th. They get to Great American Ballpark on Sunday, July 3rd. Be one of the first 10,000 fans 14 and younger to get a Bronson Arroyo plush doll thanks to New York Life. And cheer on your Reds as they take on the Indians in the battle for the Ohio Cup. For tickets, see your Reds at Indians. Call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com. Double play depth, middle of the infield for Cincinnati, with Aaron Sebia to the plate. By the way, congratulations to the Reds with the inking of Sir Paul McCartney for that August the 4th concert. And talking to Karen Forgas, she said it's down to only about 3,000 tickets left for that August concert. This should be a special night at Great American Ballpark. Swing and a miss. 0-2. They'll have a stage out in center field, seating on the field, seating in the bowl itself.
I'm surprised that the Reds don't have anybody up here, especially with the last couple of ball games. And Bronson Arroyo, when he got to the 7th inning, that's when he got himself into trouble. And you can already see, I mean, doesn't take a genius to see that he is out of sorts a little bit here at the bottom of the order. He was behind all the way with Juan Rivera. 3-0 walks him to a hitter that's hitting 197 out of first base, which is where he is today.
Got an out when he needed it. That's out number 2 on the strikeout. So we go to the 8th spot in the order. 2 up Johnny McDonald, but Edwin Encarnacion's coming out of the dugout.
I think you just have to guard against anything that could possibly go in the wrong direction. And the Reds have no movement in their bullpen, no righty, no lefty. And it's all on the shoulders of Bronson Arroyo.
Now here's a former Red, Edwin Encarnacion, his first visit to Cincinnati after coming up through the Reds organization after being traded from Texas. Edwin has played some third, played some first, still coming back from a wrist injury and a stint on the bereavement list due to the death of his grandfather, who he was very close to. 1 ball to Edwin.
I I mean, you can see right now, this is not the same Bronson Arroyo that we saw through the first 6 innings of play. And there's still nobody up in the bullpen. I think you're pushing the envelope here. One swing of the bat and this game could be over.
Short lead for Rivera, not going. That's a strike. And you know Edwin's story. He has home run power, home run potential. At one time, he was the third baseman of the future for the Reds.
That is all he is thinking about right here.
The Blue Jays do not have a left-handed batter on the bench. In addition to Edwin, you've got Jose Molina, who homered yesterday, Rajai Davis, Mike McCoy, and Jason Nix, all right-handed hitters. Breaking ball away. Ooh. Hannigan wanted it away. That drifted over the middle of the plate.
Well, there is only one pitch that Encarnacion is looking for, and that is a fastball. You can see him bailing out, looking for a fastball middle in. See that front foot step towards the third base bag? All he's trying to do is jerk one out of here.
Left field line curving. It'll go foul by no more than about 5 feet. And again, you saw where Hannigan set up and you saw where the ball wound up.
And we still don't have anybody up in the bullpen.
A scary moment.
I understand that Arroyo is a veteran pitcher and he's earned the right to be out there. But when he starts missing his spots as badly as he is right now, you need to have activity in the bullpen. Like I said, one swing of the bat, the game's over.
3-2, look out.
And you got a hitter at the plate that has as big a chip on his shoulder and as much vengeance against this organization as you could possibly get.
3-2, 2 away. Rivera will be off and running from first again. It's only dropped down once this afternoon. Might he do it here? Sky the other way into the seats. Encarnacion hanging tough. Lengthiest at bat for a Toronto player against Arroyo today. 9th pitch coming up.
Throw all the stats out the window when you come back to face your old team.
Well, Hannigan said fastball away, fastball in, then breaking ball, and they went back to fastball in again. Let's see where they go. Fastball away. Edgar vacuums it up, and that'll do it. We'll keep it right here. The Reds finally have a lead, and we can take a deep breath, Cowboy. We can take a deep breath also. Aaron Ashley by with God Bless America. Let's go to Joe Zierhusen. Don't forget, after every single Reds game all season long, stay with Fox Sports Ohio for Reds Live postgame. You'll hear from Dusty. You'll get the story. Visit Reds Live postgame, brought to you by Kings Honda and the Kings Auto Mall. Visit KingsHondaUSA.com. Here's Hannigan, the 8th hitter to lead it off. Arroyo will follow. Mike McCoy takes over for McDonald, who was pinch hit for in the 8th spot by Encarnacion. And you had to figure that if the inning had continued, Villanueva would have exited. And you probably figured, Cowboy, if Hannigan gets on, Arroyo would probably stay in and sacrifice. If not, you figure he'll be pinch hit for. But I'm with you. The Reds dodged a big bullet with Encarnacion in that last at bat.
Yeah, that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me to have Arroyo facing Encarnacion in that situation. Not when you're up in the ball game. And Encarnacion, I mean, I'm just from the school that you never give your starter after the 6th inning a chance to lose the ball game. And that home run would have lost, or would have put Arroyo in a chance to lose the ball game.
Dotel continues to loosen, and he's been joined by the left-hander Mark Zipchinski. Nub towards left. And caught by the shortstop, Yunel Escobar. Hannigan retired, and Arroyo will hit.
Reds fans, if you're in the restaurant industry, let JTM Food Group help you with great tasting products for your menu. Inspired solutions, better results. It's all JTM.
So here in the 7th, Arroyo will hit. Bronson 0 for 2 today. Struck out looking, struck out swinging after attempting to bunt twice. You surprised he's hitting here?
Big time. I think you're at a point right now in this ball game where you do whatever it takes in the 8th and the 9th inning to win this ball game. And if I'm a reliever, I would much rather be in the game and used to the mound and have faced a batter before I come running out onto the field of play and asked to face Batista and Adam Lynn.
And going to the 8th, it'll be 9-1-2 due up for Toronto. Bill Bray and Logan Andrusik each have been up stretching, but neither has started the toss, and now they both approach the mound. And Andrusik has started to loosen. Arroyo retired, 2nd out of the 7th. Hey, Reds fans, your chance to be a part of Reds Live postgame. Text your comments on the game and the Reds in general to 37664. Then tune in tonight to Reds Live after the game, and your message could be seen on the screen. Let your voice be heard here on Fox Sports Ohio. Join on this Father's Day broadcast Jim Day, his first Father's Day to celebrate, and Jeff Pecoro, who's been celebrating Father's Day for a long time. Two good dads will march you through Reds Live postgame. Drew Stubbs skies this one to the right side. Batista under it, and that'll do it. So the Reds go quietly in the 7th. Villanueva trails 2-1. He's due up when we return. Votto on board, and the Reds are nursing a 2-1 lead as we head to the 8th inning. So you hope for more offense from third, and when Scott Rowland's in there, you get it, and you get it from number 43 today too. So the Villanueva due up as we go to the 8th. Here comes Rajai Davis. Speed to burn. Good bunter, great speed, and even a normal ground ball to short is trouble with his speed. .5'10", 195 pounds. Connecticut native. Leads this club in stolen bases. One at bat. He started yesterday's ball game and rattled a triple off the wall and left. But the game takes on a different dimension when he comes to the plate. Everything has to be picked cleanly. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And don't show him fastball. Give him everything you can that bends. Breaking balls for strikes, fastballs for balls. 2-2. Got him. Out number 1.
That was a great setup there by Bronson Arroyo. A fastball up and away. Davis takes it and he comes right back with a curveball that starts in the same spot, and he sets up Davis about as good as you can do it. Starts it right in the same spot. Davis sees it as a fastball and swings right through it. Great pitching.
1 away. Top of the order, Yunel Escobar. Singled his first time up. 1 for 3. 2 ground balls his last 2 times up. If you joined us late before the game today, big smile on this guy's face. Around the clubhouse, he was on the phone calling family and friends because they finalized the deal for a 2-year contract extension at $10 million with options for 2014-2050. He gave credit to Edgar Renteria for helping him mature as a man, not just as a ball player, and he also gave a lot of credit to the third base coach for this Blue Jay team, Brian Butterfield, outstanding infield coach. And you talked about it yesterday, Cowboy. There was a little bit of hot dog in Yunel when he came here. Butterfield said, look, you know, make all the plays, just cut down on the mustard a little bit, and he's been doing that. We've seen it here.
Yeah, there's just a misnomer about trying to be noticed when you're making plays. Just get the job done. Like that.
Now, so much for wondering if Bronson had anything left in the tank. Escobar will question the second pitch.
Back-to-back fastballs right in the bottom of the zone, and he starts this slider right in that same spot, and that makes Yunel Escobar have to go after it. It starts in that same low strike zone that was called fast strike 1 and strike 2, and watch him reach out, and you can see that back shoulder really roll over to try to lunge for the ball. That Expo can show you a whole lot of what's going on.
The 2 away, and here's Corey Patterson. I think what you're seeing here in this 8th inning too is what makes Dusty Baker the manager that so many people want to play for. I mean, Bronson and Dusty, you saw him talking earlier in the game on the bench. Bronson and Dusty have talked a lot, along with Brian Price, as this year has gone by with the physical problems that Bronson has had. And it's almost like Dusty's making a statement here to Bronson, not to anybody else, that I got you.
And I also believe that Bronson has told Dusty, I want this game. These guys have embarrassed me to no end. I want to show them that I am not the kind of pitcher that they've seen the last 2 years.
Well, 8 brilliant innings from Bronson. Look at the ovation he'll get behind the Reds dugout. doing more on defense play of the game. Hannigan at the plate. Runner on second after Lewis's double. This play by John McDonald saves a run and short-circuited the Reds what could have been a big inning. John McDonald, the architect of our Home Depot, doing more on defense play of the game.
That's a Scott Rowland play.
Yep.
You catch the ball, and in the middle of the pirouette, out of the peripheral vision of your left eye, you pick up the first base bag. Mark Zepchinski. This will be his 33rd appearance.
Brandon Phillips first pitch swinging, skies it to right. It just drops the bat. He had a pitch he thought he could handle, pops it up, and he's 0 for 4. Ground out, line drive to center, bouncer to second, and that fly ball to right. Here comes Joey. He'll get a big hand. He started the Reds rally in the 6th. He singled in the 1st to end an 0 for 10 mini slump for him.
And this is really why Zepchinski is in the ballgame, to face both Votto and Bruce. Only 2 extra base hits this year he's given up.
In game 1 of the series, he faced Joey and had him ground out to second base. And he faces him here in the 3rd game of the series. And you know Joey's story. He's led the National League in hitting against left-handed batters, left-handed pitchers all season long. Remember Don Mattingly always said, I asked him, who do you want to see in a slump? He says a left-hander, because I concentrate more against left-handers. And Votto's kind of the same way. He dials it up another notch in intensity against left-handed pitching.
It's interesting to see Zepchinski's name on the back of his jersey. It goes all the way from underneath his throwing arm latissimus dorsi, all the way around his neck, around the shoulder, and finishes on the right side of his latissimus dorsi.
And a 3-hit afternoon for Joey Votto. Well, we talked about it early, Cowboy. When you struggle, you dial it up a notch, and Votto has today. 3 for 4, Joey Votto, a 1-out base hit.
It almost looks as though Joey Votto is much more comfortable today, not jumping as much, and I guess that every player goes through this. I know that I did, going back into San Francisco after being a Cincinnati Red. You want to do so good. You want to show the home team that you are the player that everybody says you are now, and you get stuck in that spot sometimes.
It's human. You're human.
Yeah, and I think Joey in the first 2 ball games just was a little jumpy. He wanted to do too much.
You talk about Zepchinski. I remember when you were playing, the guy that I remember, that was Paul Ossenmacher. Remember the uniform with Ossenmacher across the back? A reliever with mostly the Braves, but an outstanding bullpen guy. Another breaking ball down and away.
He had to start the A on the left cuff, the left cuff of his jersey. And all the way around.
He could pitch a little too.
Yes, he could.
Bronson could pitch some today. 1 run, 5 hits through 8 innings. Liner towards the corner. Votto had to deke as the ball went over his head. He'll round second, go to third. They'll hold him there. It'll be a double for Jay Bruce. Bruce, 11th double of the season. And the Reds have second and third with 1 out.
And now the 3rd extra base hit off of Zepchinski all year long. And it comes from Jay Bruce right here. And that's all for Mr. Mark. Boy, George, he went out there and hooked that ball. That was off the plate, and he still was able to hook it down the right field line.
Somehow in front of it, kept the bat in the zone, and he drills it into the corner. John Farrell makes the pitching change, and with that, we'll take our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen as Octavio Dotel comes in. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio. or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Reds.com for details. Here's a guy the Reds have seen a lot of over the years. At one time, a setup guy for Billy Wagner, then the closer in Houston. He's bounced around, but he still has that same wielding motion. He's still, Cowboy, tough on righties.
18 innings, 11 walks, and a 4.82 earned run average. This is one that you look fastball and you never get off the fastball. Take the breaking ball because he can't throw it for a strike. Look dead red and let him have it.
He's been money in the bank most of the time this year for this Toronto team. He's held right-handers to a 174 average and is stranded 17 of the 21 inherited runners he's faced. He's got 2 out there now, and with 1 out, the Blue Jays will bring the infield into the edge of the grass. The hero of the day so far on an offensive side is at the plate. It's Miguel Cairo. His 2-run home run in the 6th with Votto aboard has given the Reds a 2-1 lead. Miggy, a premier pinch hitter, and the Reds are the best pinch hitting team in the National League and the best pinch hitting team in baseball. So he goes to his pinch hit mold here. Shorten the swing, go the other way. Still some giddy up on that, huh?
Well, the thing for Dotel is he drops his arm a little bit. He gets underneath the baseball. It's not that conventional over the top. Most pitches are going to be about belt high or a little bit higher. So you've got to make him get the ball down, and you've got to make him get the ball close to you.
Cairo 1 for 6 in his career against Dotel. Stays alive. We were talking yesterday about what do you do as a pinch hitter? How do you become a good one? And as we related to Chris Heisey and his growth in that position, Lenny Harris, who started as a Red, learned how to become a pinch hitter through years of pressure situations, and Cairo's done the same thing. He's been a bench player a long time and been in these situations very often. In a hole here, 0-2. Wasn't long ago, Cowboy, as Votto leads off third and Bruce off second, where you looked at the Reds bench and they were first and second year players. Now they've got people that come off and can deliver.
Well, for the longest while, it was just Chris Heisey.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Look out. Woo. Set up for breaking ball away.
Well, the thing about it is they're looking for the fastball down and away, and he cuts underneath the baseball. That's what makes it so difficult for him to get the ball down. His hands almost come underneath the baseball. That's why every ball is elevated with that funky spin.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Cairo's battle back to a 2-2 count.
Just look hard, look middle in.
They got it.
And not up there. Fastball up in the strike zone for a guy that's cutting underneath the baseball. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, that you can do with that pitch except pop it up in the infield or foul it all.
Due up now is Freddie Lewis. Will they walk him?
I mean, you can watch him do his intentional walk method, and this will tell you how much control this guy's got. Watch him as he sets. Does that look like a major leaguer that's got a whole lot of control? No.
You talked about Etha's pitch before.
The only thing that he can do is just rear back and sling it up there. If he tries to throw something hard to Aaron Sebia right now, he may hit he may hit the coach in the coach's box over there in the third base dugout.
There's your intentional walk, ball 4. So that'll bring up Edgar. So the bases are loaded with 2 outs. John Farrell opts to bypass the left-handed swinger to put the pressure on the red shortstop, Edgar Renteria. Over the years, Renteria and Farrell looks at the numbers just like Dusty does. He's got a little sheet next to him. Renteria's 3 for 26, 115 against Dotel in his career.
That's because Renteria likes the ball down in the strike zone, and he likes to shoot the ball the other way. And Dotel is anything but down, and he usually misses in. Just like that.
Edgar today, 2 fly balls about 10 feet from the wall to left on the warning track, and a ground ball to short.
I'd almost be willing to bet that if you stood right on top of the plate, that this guy could not throw you 3 strikes before he threw 3 balls, or 4 balls, I should say.
That was the pitch for this at bat.
That was the pitch to him.
0-2. The one thing you've seen over the years, Cowboy, when Octavio Dotel has been pitching, Reds here with the bases loaded in the 8th. Very seldom do you see catchers set up down and in or down and away. They just set up in the middle of the plate.
Right in the middle of the plate and become a big eye. And hope to goodness they can get the glove on it. Wilder and a Mark Hare.
0-2. Line drive right field. Batista got it. They put a good swing on it. Nothing to show for it. Last roundup, Reds lead by 1. Joey Votto, big play in the ball game, trying to bunt the ball. It's popped up. McDonald's punt is picked off by Votto. He turns it into a double play. That short-circuited a potential rally for the Blue Jays. And you see how important that is as you look at the scoreboard here in the 9th inning. 2 runs, 9 hits for the Reds. And a run for the Toronto Blue Jays. Heisey's in left. Giannis moves to shortstop and in to try to pick up a save. Hopefully his 15th of the season is Coco Cordero.
Well, they've got the best defensive club they can put on the field with Honnett, with Heisey and Giannis. And Cordero out there. He's tied with Jeff Montgomery career right now with 304 saves. And now he's after Goose Gossage. And Gossage, if I'm correct, I believe is in the Hall of Fame.
He sure is. He's up. In fact, he's in Cooperstown this weekend in a big Father's Day celebration. Coco, dad, in his own rights, would love to celebrate for Bronson here. Here's Batista, 0 for 3 and a strikeout. 1 for 3 and on this day an 0 for 3 against Coco Cordero in his career. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bronson Arroyo sure did his job today. A run on 5 hits through 8 innings, turning it over to the big guy. Just missing inside. Batista, Lind, and Hill. Setting up down and away Hannigan. That's a strike.
Awfully good off-speed pitch there by Cordero, and he really had Batista fooled.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Coco to Jose Batista. Line drive center field. Here comes Stubbs. Got it. Boy, he squared that ball up and hit it right on the button. And with the rain starting to come down now, that play a little bit more difficult than it might have looked on television. I mean, that's hit right at the center fielder.
And that's the one thing about Batista that I've noticed in just these 3 games. He is dead set on the fastball, and everything else he'll adjust from, but he's not going to be late on a heater.
Big out number 1 of the 9th, and here comes Adam Lind. So far quiet today. 0 for 3. Line drive to center, fly ball to right, and a strikeout. In his career, 0 for 1 against Coco.
They have worn Adam Lind out with the split finger. Over and over again.
Coco to the stretch. That's a fair ball off the top of the bag, but there to get it is Votto. Well, 2 outs, neither one of them as easy as they might look. And down to the final out are the Blue Jays, and listen to this crowd, 32,618 strong.
Boy, George, how quick was Cordero at first base? He was on top of the bag by the time Joey Votto had the ball in his hand.
You started today by alluding to how important defense is from the pitcher spot. No way Votto could have gotten to the bag if he's not there in time. Here's Aaron Hill. Hill's home run in the 5th, the only run that the Blue Jays have today. 1 for 3. Fly ball to center. 398-foot homer in the 5th to left, and a pop up to the shortstop. 2 for 3 in his career against Coco Cordero. Strike 1.
There's that split finger again. It starts off the plate away from the right-hander and comes right back to the outside corner. What a quality pitch.
Hannigan rolls through his signs. They'll roll through them one more time. Everyone on their feet here at Great American, looking for a chance to celebrate on this Father's Day weekend. In the air, the fans will tell you. Sweet sounds from Great American Ballpark. Arroyo pitches brilliantly. Cordero bumps up a notch on the save list to number 19 with 305. A big home run, a 2-run shot from Miguel Cairo gives Bronson Arroyo the win, and Arroyo sure made a statement today.
Really did, George. He kept the ball down in the strike zone, and he really erased a nemesis of his over the last couple of years. 8 superbly strong innings for Bronson Arroyo.
We'll be back after this. Reds have won it. Votto started a rally. The Reds win it 2-1.